Thanks guys for taking the time to check out this video. Hopefully you'll find this informative and helpful as you dialogue with friends and family. And if this isn't for you, perhaps this will be good information for you to share with your colleagues at work, your loved ones, anybody else there. Hope you're enjoying the summer of 2020. It sure has been a very warm one. So let's get into the mortgages. Let's talk about refinances and what we can do to help alleviate our stress. I'm getting a lot of calls these days, and I'm talking to a lot of people in regards to their financial situation. And we're all trying to enjoy life, and obviously money helps us enjoy life in many aspects. But unfortunately, sometimes life happens, and those debts start to build up a little bit over time, and it starts to really impede in our ability to enjoy life. So one thing I like to talk to a lot of my clients about is this idea of refinancing. Not everybody's familiar with this idea, but with the growth in the value of homes, and to be honest, for a lot of these clients, I find that they're not even aware of how much their house is growing in value. So it's a good idea to have them give me a call, and the next thing is, as a realtor on the one side here, I can kind of look over the numbers and advise them as to how much equity they have in the home. So that's the difference of what the outstanding mortgage is versus the current value. The portion in there that you own is called your equity. So we can utilize that equity to pay off your other debts. Now, of course, the downside of that is it means your mortgage is going to increase, but it's going to increase significantly much less than what it would in reflection to all the other debts you're paying. So as an example, you might be paying $500 a month on, let's say, a car debt or a student debt or a high credit debt. And if you can consolidate that into your mortgage might actually only be $100 a month or $150. Again, it depends on what the numbers look like, and that's where I have to look at the situation and advise you accordingly. But for many of my clients, they have found this to be a great option. So what we do is we put the debts into the house, we reduce them monthly so you can start to enjoy life a lot more. And usually I advise that you split the difference. So if you're saving yourself, say, $300 a month now because you're paying a lot less in your monthly bills, not a bad idea to maybe put half of that towards paying down the mortgage a little quicker, so maybe $150, and use the other $150 to just go out to eat a little bit more often, or perhaps put it in a savings account, and maybe at the end of the year or two, you can go away on a vacation to Dominican or something along those lines. So please guys, there are a lot of options out there, and by the time people often reach out to me, they've been going through a lot of stress. So don't hesitate to give me a call or email me. Just say, hey Dan, I'd like to discuss this idea of consolidating debts. How can you help me just enjoy life a little bit more? Now, along those same lines, I'm dealing with a lot of more mature clientele that, unfortunately, they've gone into retirement and they thought they had a lot of money set aside, maybe $500,000, $1 million, or whatever it is. But it's amazing how quickly that money depletes over time. So one thing I've been looking into with a lot of my clientele, or recently, is this idea of a reverse mortgage. So if you're not familiar with a reverse mortgage, there's a few really nice aspects I like about this idea that a lot of people may not be aware of. So one is that we get to keep the home. So rather than going to having to pay some landlord money after you've been owning your home for years, you can actually keep your own home, live in your home, forego all your real estate fees, any moving expenses, and of course the other big aspect is you don't have to worry about inflation causing those rents to keep going up. I find a lot of people move into them. I heard of a couple not too long ago that they took on this beautiful condo and they were paying, I think it's $2,300 a month. And the problem was, as the years have gone on, that $2,300 a month has creeped up very, very quickly. And while they sold their home and they made their $500,000-$600,000, that $500,000-$600,000 did not last long when you're paying $2,300 every single month. And like I said, that is going up, $2,400, $2,500, $2,600 as the months go on. And of course, as inflation increases, those increases happen at a more rapid pace as well. So perhaps something to consider would be, can you stay in your home? Maybe we need to talk about doing a reverse mortgage. Okay, and what that is you say, okay, and there's a few different options. What we can do is we can take a lump sum amount out. So if you need to pay off some debts, we can say, okay, let's take $100,000 out of the house. Okay, and we can pay off those debts. And the really, really nice part I like about these reverse mortgages is that you don't have any monthly payments. So what happens is the interest, because there obviously is interest, it just accumulates on the value of the home. And so technically, your mortgage does increase over time. But the really nice aspect about this is that, of course, your home is also appreciating over time. And if you're paying attention, I'm going to post another video talking about the real estate market and some of my thoughts as to why it is increasing so much. And really, based on my projection, I don't think things are going to be changing anytime soon. But, that's up to you. there is that risk of the value of the house could go down, and of course your mortgage is going up to the point that there might not be any equity in there. And if you're not comfortable with that risk, then yes, by all means, just go ahead and sell that home. But if you're feeling pretty confident about the market and you enjoy living in your home, rather than having to be forced into selling that home just because your month to month is getting to be very stressful, perhaps this is something we should talk about. The other option is we can even do small incremental withdrawals. So you say, hey Dan, I'm enjoying life and whatnot, but I just find that we're just barely getting by. Well, we can take out a reverse mortgage on the house and we can withdraw $1,000 or $2,000 a month. And yes, the mortgage will continue to increase, but imagine how much more your life, the quality of your living will increase having an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month. I know me personally, there's a lot of fun things I can think of doing with an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month. Now, another thing I'm getting with a lot of clients too is my elderly clients, and this program, by the way, starts at 55 and older, so not even all that old. But of course, the older you are, if you're 75, you will have access to more of that equity. The younger you are, the less equity you have in there. So by all means, give me a call. I can run the numbers for you and advise how much you'll have in there. But another thing I've encountered with a few of my clientele, because unfortunately they had a death in the family, or perhaps they've had hospital bills, is they've still got their mortgage. And again, when you're paying, even on let's say $100,000 mortgage, you're paying $1,000 a month just to pay that thing down, and that's great. One day it'll be paid off. But why? What is the rush to pay this thing off? If you can start enjoying life a little bit more, my recommendation would be get yourself a reverse mortgage. And what we can do then is you can start having that extra $1,000 that you're currently spending on the mortgage to start enjoying life. Now, if you really want to, you can even say, you know what, I'll pay interest only. So you can say, okay, I'll pay $400 a month, and now you've got an extra $600 a month to spend on whatever you like to spend that money on. So, food for thought. By all means, give me a call, email me, share this information with your loved ones. Hopefully they enjoy videos. That's why I'm putting it on here. And hopefully it just helps them think outside the box. I'm actually going to share with you a couple of stories here as well that one another actually has given to me here, which I think are a really good indicator as to what our options are here. So this lady here, Beth, she was just finding that she was just living day to day, and she really wasn't enjoying her retirement the way she would have liked to have enjoyed it. So what they did here, and you can kind of read that as I'm talking, is we actually were able to get her the mortgage so she could take the money out and actually go on some trips, so she could go on some cruises and things that she otherwise just could not afford to do. So she was able to get a lot of that traveling that she'd always dreamed about doing. And I know of actually a number of my clientele who have gotten to that point where they are retired and they really want to get out there and see the world. There's so much beautiful stuff to see in the world, and it would be a shame to have this big, beautiful home you can pass on to your family, but at the end of the day, your final years were just not as enjoyable as you would have liked. So, yeah. Okay, I'm going to share with you guys another one here. We have, all right, so I got a few. Okay, so this couple here, Gail and Ronald, they thought they saved up enough money, which was very, very common, which I kind of talked about earlier in there. And unfortunately, they went through that money much quicker than they thought. Again, without having to sell the home and relocate to another place that they don't necessarily want to live in. Maybe they have beautiful gardens they want to continue to maintain. In this case, we would get them a reverse mortgage. They can keep the home, and they have the cash so they can start to enjoy life a little bit more. Okay? And I've had, again, a number of clients have actually opted for this. So let's look at another scenario here that you might find insightful. I like this one. Grandparents want to help Ichiro and Mika want to help their grandkids get through university. Mom and dad just don't have the money at their disposal. So again, this is an option where they're able to pull that equity out of the house, help the kids pay for university. So flat amount. And the nicest part is they didn't have to pay anything. There's no taking on a mortgage like there would be in other situations here. And the rates are some of the best I've seen in many, many years. Of course, you will pay a little bit more than a standard mortgage, but keep in mind, you're not actually having to pay anything on a monthly basis, which is quite a nice feature there. If you think of it this way, if you have, let's say, a $400,000 home, you take a $100,000 mortgage out of the home, rates right now are in around 4%, and I would say inflation in houses are at least 4%. So if that house goes up, that $100,000 mortgage, you have an extra 4%, so you got a $4,000 increase to your mortgage, and now you have $104,000. keep in mind that the house now actually has gone up also 4%, but the 4% is on the total value of the home. So now we're talking actually $16,000. So yes, your mortgage is up $4,000, but your equity in the house has actually increased by $16,000. So the difference is $12,000 actually to your advantage. You have $12,000 more value because you chose to stay in the home. This is a nice little feature to have there. And of course, let's talk about bigger numbers. Let's talk about $600,000 or $800,000 homes. If you take a $200,000 mortgage, yes, your mortgage will increase, but the value of the house will also increase. So again, it all comes down to your perspective on housing, whether or not you want to take that risk on the housing. But keep in mind, there's a number of other positive aspects to owning a home beyond just the growth in the value. It's the fact that it's your home. Nobody can kick you out. I've had a lot of calls recently with landlords saying, I'm evicting this person because I sold it for personal use. There's nothing you can do about that. Okay, and then you got to get back into the house hunting, and with rents increasing as much as they are, inflation is not even a factor. They're going well beyond inflation for the rents. So hopefully you found this guide helpful, and if you have any follow-up questions, definitely pass on my information to your loved ones, or give me a call, email me, whatever else. I love helping people out of jams, so if I can be of assistance, I'd love to do that. Okay, take care, wishing you all the best. Keep in mind, chip mortgages for those that are a little bit more mature, that's a great option. And then, of course, there's always the refinance option for the rest of us out there that perhaps just don't have access to that chip option. Okay? God bless. Take care.